Hello, welcome to Murder She Shed. My name is Holly. This is the place where I tell true crime right in my she shed. Hang around, simmer down, and I will make your heart pound. I mean to torture you with my bad rhymes. I don't know. I just say them. They're just really bad. But let's get on with this, okay? This one is a rough one today. And I'm going to go ahead and just put a warning straight up front on this one. If child abuse is a trigger for you, you might just come back and watch one of my other videos or catch me next time, okay? Before you click off, hit that like and subscribe button. I'd love it. This Southern girl would love it. It would make me so happy. If you want to. I mean, not everyone likes a good Southern thing. I'm going to try to get through this one. Horrible case. Right out of San Antonio, Texas. Let's get started. Mercedes Losoya is a 5-year-old little girl from San Antonio, Texas, that had extreme torture and abuse inflicted on her by her own mother and her mother's boyfriend. KATRINA MENDOZA and Jose RUIZ has been arrested for causing serious bodily injury to this beautiful little girl, guys. Look, she's gorgeous. It's just sad. It's just a sad case. On February 7th, KATRINA, who is Mercedes' mom, Mercedes being the little girl, showed up at Southwest Medical Hospital carrying Mercedes, who was unresponsive when she was brought into the emergency room. The hospital staff stated that there was obvious trauma to Mercedes' little body. Mercedes passed away that night at the hospital. The authorities were then called. They showed up. Jose, the boyfriend, was sitting in the car in the hospital parking lot. They went to the vehicle to arrest him, and they did find a gun in the vehicle upon arrest. He wasn't actually charged for the child's death at the time. He did have other charges that from the past that they had arrested him for. But now he has been arrested for the bodily injury. And I'm sure once everything's worked out, the autopsy's done, it'll be much more. But KATRINA, the mom, was also arrested after that. They are both currently in jail. Let me tell you this story. Horrific. The story of Mercedes' death. KATRINA, the mom, apparently sent her daughter Mercedes over to Jose's house to stay with him a few days so he could discipline Mercedes, because KATRINA said she needed help in punishing this little 5-year-old girl. So she literally let her stay with just the boyfriend and the little girl at the house by themselves. A couple of days later, she called her boyfriend on a video call, and she seen Mercedes standing in the background with her arms up in the air, holding something heavy in them. She's holding them way up. It does not say how long she was made to stand like that, but it does say KATRINA told her daughter to mind everything Jose told her, because it was part of her punishment. A few days later, KATRINA seen Jose and Mercedes in person. KATRINA stated that when she seen Mercedes on that day, she had tried to pick her up, and she said that Mercedes moaned in pain when she did. And she also seen cuts and scratches all between her legs. And Jose said he had been pinching her there for punishment. I don't even want to know what else. So guess what KATRINA thinks is a good idea next? So after seeing the shape her little 5-year-old daughter is in, she decides it is a great idea to move in with Jose and bring Mercedes' sister, who was 6 years old, with her into the home of this abusive monster. She had stated to authorities that Jose was to be blamed for the abuse of Mercedes. But guys, she made a decision to move in with a man that already abused her child. She can't say that at that point. And not only that, she asked him to punish her. What did she expect? And of course, after moving into the house, the abuse continued to escalate. Every visible part of Mercedes' body was covered in bruises, scratches, cuts, and swelling. And she was missing chunks of her hair as if someone had jerked it out. According to investigators, her hands were bruised and swollen from what seemed to be defensive wounds. Her ears were swollen and bruised, guys. Her ears. Her neck was covered with scrapes and cuts. Her legs and feet were also battered, and she was reportedly missing several toenails. What did this monster pull her toenails off with? That is torture. Mercedes' legs were covered with bruises, some of which appeared to be patterned, which is what is commonly seen when belts or other objects are used to inflict injury. Mercedes' injuries were so numerous, the medical examiner reportedly said there was no clear or obvious injury that caused the victim's death. Basically, there was so many, they didn't know what caused her death. So they're going to need some more time to find that out. kATRINA described how she saw Jose pick up dog feces and put it inside Mercedes' mouth while yelling at her. She also described to authorities a time Jose soaked a sock in urine and forced it in Mercedes' mouth, and then he jerked it out so aggressively it knocked out 2 of her teeth in the process. He is also accused of repeatedly hitting Mercedes with his hands, which would be covered in rings, so she had bruises and cuts on her face. Mercedes' 6-year-old sister was a witness to some of her own sister's torture. It was torture. No way around it. The sister told authorities that she had witnessed Jose sticking thumbtacks on the bottom of Mercedes' little feet. Guys, that about made... Oh, it's horrible. And she did have bruises all over the bottoms of her feet. All over them. Her sister also said Jose used the gold part of the belt on Mercedes. When Jose was interviewed, when he was taken into custody, he stated that it was kATRINA that had abused Mercedes and that he had only spanked her, placed her in the corner, or made her raise her arms. That's the only thing he admitted to. Neighbors of Jose say they called police and CPS repeatedly about violent concerns. They stated they had heard hitting sounds coming from his apartment. One neighbor stated she witnessed a previous incident when kATRINA was physically abusive to her daughter in the apartment parking lot. She said that she seen kATRINA physically kick Mercedes on the side. The neighbors also said the abuse had escalated in the recent days, prompting the final call to the police. The police sent somebody to Jose's apartment. They knocked, no one answered, so they left. Relatives of Mercedes' dad also said they reached out repeatedly to both the police and CPS, but were not able to get the agencies to remove the child. kATRINA had not let Mercedes see her dad since October. CPS, though, confirms the family was in their system, so They knew about them. They just really hadn't done nothing about it. CPS says that it has taken the 6-year-old sister into foster care. I hope she's taken better care of. I hope to God. Mercedes' dad's mother, so Mercedes' grandmother, said she had already known that kATRINA favored the older sister over Mercedes and had often seen bruises on Mercedes. She stated that once kATRINA had given Mercedes bangs like this, so to cover the bruises on her forehead. The grandma also said the abuse and neglect began just weeks after Mercedes was born. She also stated when Mercedes was just a few days old, kATRINA had told her that Mercedes hadn't had a bottle in 2 or 3 days. She hadn't fed her. She hadn't fed her in 2 or 3 days, and said that, I don't have a bond with Mercedes. I can't bond with her. Grandma also said that kATRINA had called her after she got arrested and explained to her what happened. How could you even explain that? And she said, please forgive me. I'm sorry. The grandma said, I told her I'm not the one you need to ask for forgiveness. You need to get on your knees and you need to ask God to forgive you because I can't do it. She also said she had other relationships prior to this and they would abuse Mercedes as well. The Losoyas claim they tried to get custody of Mercedes but were unsuccessful. The Losoya family held a candlelight vigil to pay tribute to Mercedes in hopes justice will prevail in court. 5-year-old Mercedes Losoya was known for having a big, loving heart. They said she's very sweet. She loved God. She loved going to church. She loved school. And she loved her sissy. My prayers go out to her sissy. I hope she's kept safe. And the family and friends that loved little Mercedes. I will keep you guys updated on this case, this horrific case. And I hope some justice is served for little Mercedes. She deserves it. And I don't know why this isn't getting more attention. It should be. Please, if you suspect child abuse, report it. Then report it again and again and again until they get tired of hearing your voice. Changes need to be made in our system for these little children. I'm not sure what, but I know something needs to be done. Too many are being abused, and the abuse is allowed to continue. Sorry I have to leave you guys on such a sad note. This was a horrible case. I don't think child abuse needs to be hidden. I think it needs to be brought out into the light in order for these children to be saved. We have to discuss these hard issues, even if we don't want to. All right, guys. This was definitely a hard case. I'm sorry I left you on that. So I hope you'll still like and subscribe for my other cases. Usually they're not as tough as this one. And I hope you'll come back and see me right in my she shed. Have a great week and a blessed week. And make it your best week yet. Love ya. Bye.